All right, everybody. This is Chris Ortiz, 316 Photography, KJ Radio. I am here with George Panagakos from Feverseed. Is that right?
Yes, sir. That's
All
right.
right. Awesome. So, you guys get started.
Well, basically, me and my best friend Chris, Chris plays bass guitar. He plays everything, man. He gets hired mainly to play bass guitar, but he's an amazing guitar player. He's an amazing drummer, and the two of us have been writing and recording stuff for years, in all different genres. And we're both professional musicians that get hired to play in different genres. But over the years, a couple of years ago, we made a pact, that one day we were just going to rock, you know what I mean? And yeah, just, about over a year ago, we decided it was time, and it was time to rock. And, I usually get hired to play piano and the organ. I put that down, picked up a guitar, I've been playing the piano since I was a young kid, but I've been playing the guitar since I was 15. And I put down the guitar, put down the piano, picked up the guitar, and just decided it was time to rock. So me and Chris, we spent a few months working on the tunes, and I mean, we wrote more than an album's worth of material, but in the end, we had to pick 3 songs because of our budget that would best represent the scope of our sound. So those are the 3 songs that you hear on Let Yourself Down. So, it was basically, me and Chris's pact, so we formed the band. But when it came down to recording, we needed a lead guitar player, we needed a drummer, and Chris said, if we're getting a lead guitar player, it's got to be with us. I mean, I know you're out in the Midwest, but here in New York, everyone wants to play with us. So we were lucky to get him. He's a good friend of ours. He's a great guy, extraordinary player. And when it came to the drummer, we needed the most powerful guy we knew. And by a mile, that was my friend Drew Bertrand. I mean, the guy is just the heaviest hitter I know, and he was perfect for this project. So that's how the band came together.
Awesome. What's your creative process like to write music? Do you have to be on the beach, or does it just come straight to you?
It's different with every song. You know what I mean? I never know when it's coming. I don't write on cue. I can only speak for my creative process. Chris and I are a team, but when it comes to my creative process, I don't write on cue. I write when I feel it coming. I sit down at my piano, pick up my guitar, hum into my phone, whatever it may be. Imprint, one of the songs on the EP, that's been bouncing around for years, you know what I mean? And it took years to complete. But Let Yourself Down just came straight out. I wrote the core of the tune, something I felt very strongly about, and I knew I couldn't finish it without Chris, and I sent the core of the tune to Chris, and he wrote this gorgeous intro and so much more, these beautiful lead lines, this gorgeous lead line that the song fades out on, and he's just a treasure trove, man. I'm lucky to have a partner like him, and Beat Me, Beat Me is just a 2-minute powerhouse. That one just came right out. So, it's different with every song, but when it comes to this EP, 3 songs, 3 different processes. So,
Awesome. When you're not making music, what do you do for fun?
I actually, when I'm not making music, I enjoy, like I said before we started, I run a multimedia company, and right now I'm directing a couple of music videos, and I'm a graphic designer as well. So, I enjoy doing that work. And to be honest with you, making music is what I'd be doing one way or the other. So, it is what I do for fun. So
Awesome.
kind of like a double-edged sword question there. So,
So what does Feverseed mean, and how did you guys come up with that name?
the name was bouncing around for a little while, like I'm the band's lyricist, and I've been writing lyrics, poetry, philosophy since I was very young, and I tend to speak and write in groups of words that just work phonetically together. And the word fever seed just came out of my mouth one day, and I realized, we plant the seed that makes you hot. And I'm like, if we ever start a rock band, that's going to be the name. And we put the band together. I talked to Chris about it, and I'm like, I think it's time we use this name, and we agreed on it, and that was it.
So what's the biggest event that you guys ever played at?
Well, I mean, collectively, see, this band was formed during COVID, you know what I mean? So we actually haven't been able to perform live yet. Collectively, all four members of the band, I mean, we've collectively played in front of hundreds of thousands of people, we've all played in different prominent projects, and we've all had the pleasure of playing in front of very large groups of people. I could tell you for myself that I feel more comfortable on stage than I do anywhere else. Something just comes over me and I'm in my happy place. And as far as the other guys in the band, I can't speak for how they feel, but I can speak for what they've done. And, without name dropping, they've all played with some very prominent people. They're all geniuses at what they do, and I couldn't be more proud to be in a band with them. So all four of us have had the pleasure of playing in front of a lot of people at once, and feeling that energy and feeling that back and forth with the audience, and the incredible feeling that builds and builds and builds and builds until it's just like one huge orgasm between the band and the audience, and it just washes over you, and then you build to the next one. I know all four of us have experienced that, and I can't wait for us to experience it as a band, as soon as all this stuff lifts. Yeah.
Are you guys able to walk around outside, or are you guys mandated to stay indoors?
Well, we all live in New York. We're not mandated to stay indoors. Some of us have to be more careful than others in the band. So basically, we're just waiting until it's safe enough to get into a room together. I mean, obviously, we've been in a room together when we were recording the EP, but we can't wait to start really feeling the energy of playing 2-3 times a week together and really getting ready to get out there and show this to the world, because I'm really proud of the EP we made, but we're ready to raise some roofs because we know this is going to be extraordinarily live.
So can you tell us a little bit about the EP that you guys are about to drop?
All right. Well, the EP dropped on February 1st.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and the title track is called, do you want to hear about the songs, the process? What would you like to hear about?
Yeah, tell us a little bit about the songs and the process.
Okay, well, as far as the process, Chris and I, we chose the 3 songs that would best represent, because like I said, collectively we have more than an album's worth of material, but we had to choose those 3 songs that would best represent the scope of our sound, and our potential, and give the listeners an idea of what they could expect from a full-length LP. So me and Chris worked on that for good 6 months, really honing these, first deciding which 3 songs, and then honing those 3 songs down. Um, and then, the production process, I mean, it did have some speed bumps. Every creative endeavor has speed bumps, but we made it through, and we got to work with some really, really great people. We started off with Ryan Welsh at Suffolk Recording Studios. He's got a beautiful room. He's a great guy. He was very conducive to my process, both as I produced the album. I mean, it was a group effort. Everyone helped me. Everyone, gave me feedback and input, and it was very much a group effort. But I oversaw the production, and I had a very clear idea of, how I wanted it to sound. But there's no way that this EP could have happened with just me. I mean, everyone had input, but when it came down to like Ryan at Suffolk Recording Studios, the guy was a dream to work with, man. I mean, like when it came down to, getting each song recorded, he was just unbelievable, a long time ago, one of my mentors said that your mix begins when you mic your instruments, and I believe that to be true. And we're lucky enough that our drummer Drew Bertrand is also an incredible producer and engineer, and I told him the drum sound that I was looking for this EP, and he set up those mics on the first try. He didn't have to adjust a single mic. It was the most amazing thing I've ever seen, man. I mean, no phase issues, no nothing. I told him what I needed. He set up the right kit, set up the right mic, and I gave him a big ass hug when he came back. He played the drums for about 15 minutes. And when he was done, came back in the control room, I gave him a really big hug, and I knew we had a good foundation to start with. And it was the same thing with the guitar sounds, man. I mean, Wibbis was really, really helpful as far as, I'm sitting there playing rhythm guitar, and basically it's like a situation of, because I've been, a piano player, an organ player, acoustic guitar player for the better part of my career, and it's very close to a situation where a kid just picks up a guitar, goes into his garage, and starts to rock. You know what I mean? Yeah. But I had Wibbis there, and he gave me so much great advice as far as, how to get the sound that I wanted, and helping me choose which guitars and the amps, the settings. Ryan was very helpful with that as well, and I'm very happy with the sound that we wound up with. And and of course, there's Chris. I mean, Chris knocked everything out of the park. I mean, he was incredible. I mean, Chris, his bass part. I mean, Chris is just one of the best bass players on the planet, as far as I'm concerned, and I know I'm not alone on that. But his guitar work on this album was extraordinary. I mean, he wrote these beautiful parts, and when it came down time to play the parts, Wibbis is an amazing lead guitar player, but he's also a very humble and beautiful human being. And he just handed the guitar back to Chris, and he said, "No, man, you wrote these, and you played them beautifully, and you should play them." And Chris just did an extraordinary job as far as his tone, his performance. I'm Let Yourself Down, those second two solos are him, and he killed it. And then as far as the vocals concerned, again, Ryan Welsh, the recording engineer at Suffolk Recording Studios, he was unbelievably conducive to my process, because he could feel that I needed the momentum, because I got into the booth on a Sunday night because I was producing the album as well, so I had a lot of pre-production work to do before we actually went back into Suffolk Recording Studios and started to lay down, because there was a small break between the drums and the guitars, bass, and vocals. And I was hoping to lay down the vocals on the third night, and I didn't get the few days that I wanted to just relax, rest my voice, and really, get ready for it. And Ryan was so cool. 15 minutes in the booth on that Sunday night, and I'm like, I'm cutting the session tonight. Ryan, you got to give me like 3 days. And he was so cool about it. He's like, come back Thursday, so I spent 3 days just relaxing, taking it easy on the cigarettes, meditating, doing some yoga with my boy Scotty Wheels in California on FaceTime, and yeah, it was really cool. I went back in there and for like 15 minutes to start warming up, and I'm not feeling it. I'm just not feeling it, but something just came over me. Because all the lights were on and everything was going, and I just turned off all the lights, took off my pants, put up a picture of my dear friend Rockin' Rodney Speed, because he's the baddest man who ever lived, and I wanted his spirit with me because he's not with us anymore. And I just felt free, and I started to go, man, and I just went for hours, and we got what we needed, man. So as far as the recording, it couldn't have gone smoother. As soon as we walked into Suffolk Recording Studios, it could not have gone smoother. And then when it came down to the mix, dear friend of the whole band, amazing genius. The guy's really a genius. His name is Chris Laybourne. We call him Crispy Chicken. His studio's called The Coop. We've all been friends for a while, and the man is literally a genius when it comes to mixing and engineering. And I brought the stuff over to him. It's a nice little poetic bookend that his studio's in the town that I was born in and grew up in. So it was nice to finish off the EP, in the town where I came from. So that was great. And Chris was great the whole way through. Chris is an extraordinary engineer. He really respects the engineer-producer relationship. If he thinks I'm doing something wrong, he'll let me know. But if I tell him this is the way I want, he's like, hey, man, your thing. And it was very easy. It could not have been easier. And, he's got an amazing set of ears, amazing instincts. And I had pre-production mixes, rough mixes. And, I'm like, this is the way I want these songs to sound. And he just took those mixes and, took them to the next level. It was really could not have been a more pleasurable process. I mean, the guy is just a dream to work with, and I love him very much. So, I mean, that's as far as the production side. I mean, everything came together. There were some bumps in the road, but in the end, Providence was with us, and everything came together. So, like, as far as the songs,
yeah.
Well, yeah, each song on this EP, it has got a different feel, obviously. The first song, Let Yourself Down, it's about loss and redemption. Beat Me is just, it's just about sex. It's about having a good time. And, and Imprint, it's about love and longing. I mean, real quick summaries, Let Yourself Down. Yeah, a few years ago, I had a few tragedies within a very short period of time. And a couple of my best friends and my grandfather all died within a very short period of time. And I couldn't handle it, man. I lost it. I couldn't handle it. And I cracked, and I was gone for a while. I was completely lost for a few years there. And luckily, I've got a wonderful family. I've got wonderful friends, and they were all just waiting for me to snap out of it,
Yeah.
So, that Let Yourself Down is about my journey into, first losing those people, losing myself, losing everything, because I completely withdrew from my life, and, everything I loved, everything I knew, like the lyrics said, were, they didn't walk away from me. I walked away from them, but the entire time, everyone was just waiting for me to snap out of it, which eventually I did. And so that's the song in a nutshell, you know. No matter how dark things get, because a lot of people thought I was never coming back. You know, a lot of people are like, he cracked, he's gone, he's just, we're never getting him back, you know. So it's one thing I'd like people to take away from that song is, you know, no matter how dark things get, you know, there's always a light at the end of the tunnel. You know what I mean? Like there's always, you can always get out. You just gotta, you know, you just gotta look for your exit on the expressway and pull off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, so that was Let Yourself Down. And again, you know, I couldn't have done it without Chris, you know, because musically, you know, that's lyrically, but musically, yeah, I had the core of the song, but I couldn't crack the intro, you know, and I sent it over to him, and, you know, he could have written anything, yeah, but he listened to the song. I mean, I can't speak for him, but the intro that he wrote is so beautiful and so innocent, you know, and it speaks of, to me, musically, it speaks to the innocence before the fall, which I love, because it really creates the perfect setup for the fall that takes, you know, that most of the song's about, you know, so, you know, kudos to Chris on that one. Yeah, as far as Beat Me, I mean, Beat Me's pretty simple. You know, it's just 2 minutes and 6 seconds of just about sex, man. I mean, like, what it comes down to, I mean, it gets a little deeper than that, you know what I mean? Like, I like to have a good time, you know, it's nice to find a girl that likes to have a good time, you know, but some girls think that just because they've got some aesthetic beauty going on and they're sexy, that they can act however they want and still come back for the good stuff, and that just ain't the way it is, man. You know, like, you can't just treat someone any way you want and expect to have this power over them, you know. So this was basically just me laying down, I wouldn't say laying down the law, but just making it clear, you know, that you can't just treat people any way you want and expect them to do whatever you wish at any given time. You know, I mean, there could be an argument for the message of the song being, you know, if you want the good stuff, you better be a good girl, and to some extent that's true, you know, but the deeper meaning is, you know, just because you're sexy, just because you're hot, doesn't mean I'm just going to do whatever you say. You know what I mean? Like, I believe that, right. I believe that every woman on earth is inherently beautiful, you know, and, you know, it harkens back to a song that I wrote while me and Chris were in another band with amazing funk and soul drummer named Brian Senders, an extraordinary blues guitar player named Joe Filardo, song called Nothing But Pretty, which is, you know, not about the exact same thing, but had a similar message of, you know, just because you have the aesthetic beauty that pop culture tells you is what you want, doesn't mean you get the world on a silver platter. You got to work for it. You got to deserve it. You know, and just because you happen to be born with this image that pop culture tells everyone is beautiful, that doesn't make you better than any other woman walking on the planet. You know, there are a lot of women on earth with a lot more substance than you that I'd rather spend my time with, you know. So similar message with, you know, with Beat Me. And Imprint, in the context of these three songs, Imprint serves as the ballad, you know. I mean, it's, you know, it still rocks a bit, you know, but you know, when I talk about that time of loss, you know, like a couple of friends of mine died, my grandfather died, and life, I also lost my girl, you know, like, and life just pulled us apart. You know what I mean? Like, it's, you know, it's a very, I mean, this girl's the love of my life, you know what I mean? And it's, and it's really, really hard when you don't have closure. And, there's no I don't love you and I don't love you. It's just life rips you apart. You know what I mean? So, I mean, I knew she was gone. I knew she was never coming back. But what your head knows and what your heart feels are seldom eye to eye, especially when you're writing. And, at the time that I wrote this song, it was driving me insane because I couldn't get her off. I knew she was gone. I knew she was never coming back. And, but it was driving me insane that I couldn't get her off my mind. So basically, I'm lashing out. It's kind of like a daydream, where I'm lashing out at her, imagining her with other guys, imagining her just walking by and teasing me and disappearing, and when the truth is that she was already gone, but I mean, it's frustrating. It's really frustrating when you've got this person. I know I can't be the only one that's ever felt this way, but you get this one person that's just stuck in your mind. You can't get them out of your mind, and to the point that it drives you insane. You're like, you'll give up your pride, you'll give up your sanity. Like it's, Imprint is basically like, it's a declaration of, everlasting love, undying love, and at the same time a desperate plea for peace of mind. So yeah, man, those are the 3 tunes on the EP. So
awesome.
Yeah.
How do you think life would be without music?
Boring. Not as beautiful. I mean, like, what would life be like without a sunrise? Yeah.
True.
What would life be like without flowers in the garden? What would life be like without beautiful paintings? And a good friend of mine told me, one time when I wasn't feeling so hot, that there's always beauty all around you just waiting for you to notice. And I believe that's true. Music to me, it's my religion. It's my deepest form of personal expression, my easiest way, the easiest way for me to express my soul, my mind, my spirit, my heart. And I believe basically there are 2 things in my life that I believe in wholeheartedly. And I believe in love, I believe in music, and they're both universal languages, that transcend culture, that transcend all the things that divide so many people. And I wouldn't want to live without, I wouldn't want to live in a world where you couldn't kick back and listen to Cat Stevens on a beautiful day, or drive down the highway and rock out to Led Zeppelin or Elvis Presley or Soundgarden or the White Stripes. Or there's a lot of good times in your life. Everyone's got the soundtrack to their lives, and I've been lucky enough that a good portion of my soundtrack has been my own journal. So yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. Don't want to live without music. That would not be a good thing.
I hear that. So, how can people find your music on social media?
Well, we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're on every major streaming platform. But you can access all of it at www.feverseed.com, and all the links are there. So.
Awesome. Well, I do want to say thank you so much for letting me interview you and get to know you and the band better, and hopefully, if you guys ever come to Wichita, maybe we can do like a face-to-face kind of interview. If this pandemic.
It'd be our pleasure.
Yeah.
No, it'd be our pleasure, man. I wish the boys were here with me, but next time hopefully it'll be all 5 of us face to face. You know what I'm saying?